Hey everybody, welcome to this Caregiver Coffee. My name is Matthew Estrad. I am a gerontologist in St. Tammany Parish, and I've been partnering with Coast as a support group facilitator for over 10 years. And of course, bringing you Caregiver Coffee for about five of those since the very beginning of the pandemic, in order to get education out to people. So our mission with this and other videos is to keep older adults healthy, to keep them independent and doing the things that matter to them for as long as possible in the setting that they prefer. So we hope that you will enjoy this education, but also take action on it. And we hope that you'll share it with others. Today we'll be talking about dietary supplements. So if you're watching these in order, last week I talked about the four M's of medication and specifically vitamins and minerals, and we're still in the four M's. We're still in the medication part of the four M's. So we'll continue with that. There's just a lot, that has to do with medicines, and we'll include supplements in there too. So today we'll be talking about that. Before we do that, just a little bit about the caregiver support group that I facilitate, in case you didn't see another video before where I talk about it and promote it and plug it. So we meet just about every Tuesday of the year, unless that falls on a holiday. Sometimes it's Christmas, sometimes it's 4th of July. It's always Mardi Gras Day. It's always on Tuesday, as you know. When that happens, we typically don't cancel. We typically move it to the end of the week if possible. So the best thing to do is to go to the Coast website, Coast Seniors website, and to look under caregiver services, and then you'll just follow some clicks and you'll get to the a PDF of the calendar, and we publish two at a time. So right now we're still within May and June 2025. We're about to publish the July August 2025. And even though we follow the same pattern, it's every Tuesday, it's good to have it as a handy reference. The basic pattern is this: the first Tuesday evening of the month. These start at 6 p.m. The first Tuesday of the month, we're at the Slidell Activity Center. The second Tuesday of the month, same time, we're on the virtual platform Zoom, where you can get on with your smartphone, your computer, or even your landline phone. The third Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m., we're at the Covington Activity Center, and the fourth Tuesday of the month, always. And sometimes if there's a fifth, we'll also meet, but that's going to be on Zoom as well. So, and that's why the calendar is helpful, because sometimes we meet on the fifth Tuesday and sometimes we don't. We check with Coast to see if we get the green light to meet. So consider doing that, and also joining the email list. It's a private email list, and every Tuesday that we are meeting, I send an email out to everybody just as a reminder. This is where we're going to be, or if it's Zoom, this is the link you click on, or the phone numbers that you dial. So it tends to be helpful to folks. So I hope that you'll consider that. If you are not aware, caregiver support groups are incredibly helpful on many levels. They provide fellowship with other caregivers that can sort of speak that same language when others, maybe even your own family, they don't understand. Well, the people in this group understand. We provide education, we answer questions, we allow you to vent if you need to, but all ways towards the not just to gripe, but to figure out solutions and brainstorm and everything. It's all kept confidential, and so I hope you'll check it out. It's if and people do what they want. If they don't want to share, they don't share, or we just you just share what you are comfortable sharing. So and no one makes you talk, anything like that. So if you've been to a support group and it wasn't for you, somewhere else, try ours. If you can't make our time, let me know. And there are other facilitators that I know in this area, both online and in person. And we'll get you into a support group because they're incredibly, incredibly helpful. The research data supports that as well. So we'll help you find a group, ours or another, that fits your personality and that you'll find some fellowship in. And last thing I want to mention about that is, if you want to come once a month, once every 3 months, if you want to come every week, whether we're in person or in Covington, Slidell, because I've had people come to Covington, I've had the same person come to Slidell. So just consider that, and yeah, just consider that, and at your leisure. We're here when you want to attend. So, all right, with that, let's get into this article. So, like I said, if you're watching these in order, we did three on specifically on medicines, and then the last one, the fourth video of this particular M medication, was on vitamins and minerals. And then here we're going to talk about supplements. And as usual, this is from the National Institute on Aging, which is part of the National Institutes of Health. And this article is entitled Dietary Supplements for Older Adults. Just checking my time so I don't go over and make a super long video. So, and as usual, and this, I always have to, it's good for me to go over things because this might be your first video, but I won't go over everything in the video. There's not enough time for that, and I don't know if it's very interesting to people. But some things I'll read verbatim, but most things I just hit highlights and kind of tell you what's in the article, what's available. So when you go to the link in the description, you can look at everything that you want to and even share. So what is a dietary supplement? A dietary supplements are things that you might use to add nutrients to your diet and to lower your risk of health problems such as osteoporosis or arthritis. These supplements can come in pills, capsules, gels, powders, uh, gel capsules, tablets, extracts, or liquids, and they contain vitamins, minerals, fiber, amino acids, herbs, other plants, or enzymes. And sometimes it may be something that is added to a food or drink, and it may be something that you just take in those forms that I just mentioned. So should you take one? This is a great question. We can't answer that for you, but we can give you some questions to ask yourself. Um, Eating a variety of healthy foods can usually help you get the nutrients that you need, as we talked about in the last video, but sometimes people may not get enough because of the makeup of their composition of their body, or because there are certain foods perhaps that they don't want to eat, they don't taste good, or might be a challenge for whatever reason. So sometimes supplements are appropriate. And if you're thinking about using dietary supplements, here are some great bullet points on here. And I want to mention this before I give you these bullets. You always want to let your doctor know that if you're taking a supplement or even vitamins or minerals that are, in these supplements. And the reason why is because you want to let them know, so that if it has any kind of known interaction with any of the over-counter or prescription medications that you're taking, that they can warn you about that, and you can avoid that. And maybe it's not stop taking the supplement, it's here, take this that won't interact with these drugs. So this is absolutely information that you want to let them know, even if they don't mention it, if they don't ask you. I've been with enough doctors actually recently talking about this, and it was, yes, we want our patients to tell us, even if we don't remember. It's important information to know what supplements that you're taking. All right, so if you're thinking about using dietary supplements, you want to learn, remember, tell your doctor, like I just said, be wise and check the science and be a savvy customer. So I'll go through each of those very briefly. So find out as much as you can. This is learn, find out as much as you can about any dietary supplement you might take. Talk with your doctor, your pharmacist. See if let them know that it seemed to help your neighbor or a friend, but know that it may not work for you. Just be aware if you are reading fact sheets and checking websites, be aware of the source of that information. You want to make sure that it's linked to reputable organizations and research studies, and institutes of health, and not just research that was done by a company. Remember that just because something says that it is natural doesn't mean that it's safe or good. It could still have side effects. It might make the medicine that your doctor has prescribed either weaker or stronger. Tell your doctor. I mentioned that already. That's bullet number 3, but I wanted to move it up all the way to the top because it was just, like I said, I had a recent conversation with a group of doctors online about this. Be wise. Be wise when you're purchasing. Choose brands that your doctor, pharmacist, or dietitian recommend. Do not buy them with ingredients that you don't need. Like you might think sometimes extra, extra vitamins, minerals, etc., are better, but not always. They can actually be harmful, and you're probably wasting money, or some can't say waste money. You're probably spending money unnecessarily on in having all these extra vitamins that you may not need. So, but maybe you do. So that's why it says choose wisely. Check the science. Make sure that any claim about that the dietary supplement is making is based on scientific proof. Look for the USP, which is the United States Pharmacopoeia verified mark. The USP is responsible for verifying the identity, quality, strength, and the purity of the supplements. Information on dietary supplements is also available on Medline Plus, and there's a hyperlink in the article. But it's important to note that most supplements listed have limited evidence of any kind of benefit. So if it's too good to be true, like this is going to avoid you getting Alzheimer's or avoid cancer, or if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So you need to, our emotions and our wishes certainly get caught up in these things because we want them to work, we want them to prevent, we want them to cure. But I agree, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. All right, be a savvy customer. Some advertisements for dietary supplements that are in magazines or online or on TV, they promise things that make you feel better. They'll keep you from getting sick. They'll help you live longer. It's important to know that there's not much science to this, and they might not be able to point to it either, except for maybe their internal research, perhaps. So Google Scholar. Google Scholar. This is a separate specific search engine within Google, and it will search only specifically the peer-reviewed scientific articles that all of science is based on. So you go to Google, turning off my timer. So you go to Google, and you type in Google Scholar, and then it takes you to that separate engine, search engine. You type in coconut oil and dementia, MCT oil and dementia. And I'm not saying those two things are efficacious or not efficacious with preventing dementia, but those are common things that people ask me or ask doctors, etc. So it'll take you to those articles. And there are some articles, unfortunately, not all research articles are free. A lot of them are out behind a paywall. You don't want to pay for those. What you can do is every research article has what's called an abstract, and this is basically a paragraph that will summarize what their hypothesis is, how they studied, how many people they studied, so their sample size, sometimes their methods in that brief time, and their results and their conclusion. And that's what you'll find in the spelled out in the whole article. But if you only have that abstract, it's still going to be helpful. It can still give you some hints and some clues. And more than likely, they do publish their citations or their bibliography that they use, and and those might be clickable or researchable also. So the research is out there, and it's not impossible to understand. You don't have to be a researcher. Sometimes it does get technical. But if let's say you have the full article, you can go to the end and look at the results and the conclusions, and discussion is another way that they sometimes label their ultimate. So like, okay, they're like, this is the punchline. That's usually what's called like the discussion or conclusion. Next steps for research, et cetera. That will give you some ideas and some clues. And you can put these clues together and make a good decision with your medical professional. I encourage people to, if they're gonna, to always bring these concerns to their doctor, but encourage them to kind of speak the same language. And sometimes it means printing out the research article and bringing that as a point of conversation, or maybe even sending it before. I think if you approach that in a way that you're genuinely studious about it, uh, they're going to be responsive and want to do it. I'm sorry, want to discuss. I've done that before, and so it's worked out well. They've helped kind of even correct some things that I was reading. So I hope that you're encouraged to do that. And so we'll kind of wrap up here. There's still half of the article that I didn't go into, stuff about antioxidants and herbal supplements. Um, are these dietary supplements safe? And then some other articles and tips and everything. Um, so you'll have that at your fingertips as well if you're interested in learning more. But all that to say, supplements, they can sometimes be good. They many times will promise things that maybe they shouldn't, or may work for you or may not work for you. And remember the costs associated with these as well. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for supporting the Council on Aging in St. Tammany. Just watching these is supporting in a way. And of course, when you share them, when you take action on them, it will help as well. So thanks for being here, and I look forward to you hopefully enjoying the next video that would come out with Caregiver Coffee. Take care.